people view painting as the poor trade. We're not electricians, we're not plumbers, but that doesn't mean that a painter can't make, a six-figure salary. They certainly can, as long as they do it right.
Owning a business, you have different hats, right? There's marketing, there's sales, there's fulfillment and everything, right? So it's like each of those requires different skill sets. Cutting the check for speed, right? And a lot of these things that you learned is because these are pain points that you experienced in your business, and you documented these to provide that guidance for someone to not experience that same pain point.
We do local charity painting for agricultural society that they don't have an awful lot of money, have to keep up buildings because they have contracts with the city, and we help them to do that kind of stuff.
If you have like a $300 cost per lead, but each of those leads is closing, and you have like a 20x return on ad spend, it's like, keep that going. After this book, what is next on the radar for Mr. Jeff Lockwood?
So
what's going on, guys? Lucas Jensen here, back with the Forward Thinking Podcast. Today, we got one of the Canadian big hitters, Mr. Jeff Lockwood from Jeff Lockwood Painting out of Ontario. And some of you may know Jeff from Facebook. He's actually the best-selling author of quite a few books in the painting industry. So Jeff is a bank of knowledge, and he is a genuine person and a very great guy. And obviously, that's obvious because he's Canadian, right? So us Canadian lads, we're just good people, man.
Yeah.
So Jeff,
Canadians are good people. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. So you were just telling me you went to the Toronto paint show. So how was that?
It was actually really funny. We barely ever have paint shows in Toronto. Last time we had a paint show was about 4 years ago. It was actually in the Barrie area at a golf course. It was like a Sherwin show, 8 vendors. This was off the hook. They were 2 shows back to back. We had one on Tuesday for Sherwin, and we had one yesterday for ColorX, which had been Benjamin Moore show. Wow. And they were both great shows. Lots of vendors, lots of familiar faces that I usually see at PCA events. And they were up here in Canada and talking to Canadian painters. So it was a good event.
Man, I'm upset we didn't go, dude.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I was talking to Sam and I said, hey, are you guys going? And he's like, we don't know anything about it. And I said, well, next time I'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, because he called me. He's like, dude, there's a show in Toronto. We gotta go. I was like, what is it? He's like, it's like next Monday or Tuesday. I was like,
Yeah, not an awful lot of notice. But Wednesday was really well attended. Lots of Sherwin people at the Sherwin show on Tuesday, but the ColorX Benny Moore show was really, really well attended.
How many people came?
Oh, there was hundreds upon hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed. But I mean, it was a great show. They had lots of vendors. Brian Cooney was there from Pretty Boy.
Nice.
Paintline was there. The Newer Brush Company was there. It was a great show.
So solid, man. Yeah, I wish we came. We always hit the US ones. But I genuinely didn't hear about the Canadian one.
Because we don't normally have them.
Yeah. So, man, that's so interesting that there's not many events in Canada.
No, there's just not. So we can't even put a gathering group together for PCA in Toronto. In Toronto, what, 3 million people? Can't put how many painters would that be? Can't put a gathering group together. It's too bad.
Well, you know what the good thing is? What? You know what the good thing is? You're talking to the guy that owns PaintCon, brother. So we could get one going, man.
We should get one going.
We absolutely should. We should do a PaintCon Canada.
Yeah,
I think that'd be so cool.
We should.
Yeah. Are you going to come to PaintCon this year in November?
That was the plan. Yeah.
Dude, it's going to be crazy. Wait till you see the venue and the speakers and everything, man. It's going to blow you away.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to PCA Colorado in San Antonio for residential.
Residential.
Love San Antonio. I've been there before. But yeah, your PaintCon looked so good last year. I'm not going to pass it up this year. Amen,
brother. Yeah, our whole team's hitting the residential, Espanol, and then the women in paint for the PCA. And dude, they're so fun. I think that's where you met Sam last year, right?
I met Sam at residential last year. Yeah.
Residential, and that's where you gave the book.
Or was it? Well, it was at residential. Could have been at PCA. I think it was residential. That's where I gave him the book. Well, because I mentioned forward media marketing in the book, so I thought Lucas got to have one.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, so Jeff owns, or he's the author of 4 books. So he's got Paint Smart, Not Hard. He also has Mastering the Numbers.
Mastering the Numbers. Yeah, Mastering the Numbers. The orange one. And it's a book on profitable estimating.
I love it. And that's the bestseller.
By far the bestseller. We're selling 100 a month. It's by far the bestseller. Which is great because it's really important that people know how to estimate properly. everybody comes up with the low ball, against the low ballers, and then they're only low balling because they don't know how to estimate.
It's true. Yeah, you gotta know your numbers, man. Like a lot of our clients, we push them to like specific coaches and stuff, just because they help you dial in the production rates.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, look, a lot of painters that are doing the sales themselves, like the owner operators, and they're also doing the quotes, they walk into a 15 by 15 or 12 by 12 room and they're like, okay, this is the price, right? There's no like measuring or kind of like production rates. It's just like they just know.
Yep.
So but it's hard to get that out on paper and transfer that knowledge to someone that doesn't know, right? So trying to replace yourself in sales is that much harder because you don't have the documentation. But I mean, your book is just a perfect
Yeah,
like
it lays it out easy. The Paint Smart Not Hard lays it out easy for them. Gives them a little formula on how to, you look at what painters make in your area, because it's all over the map. Numbers are everywhere, all across North America. Numbers are different, so it gives them a starting point, which is how much an hour is the average painter make in your state, your province, and then go from there, and then you can develop your production number from that. So it just keeps a consistency with that estimating, instead of I'll do a 14 by 14 room for X number of dollars, but I'll also do a 10 by 10 room for the same amount of money. You should be getting paid more for the 14 by 14 room. It's bigger. So yeah, that's basically what we're trying to do, is teach people how to estimate properly. That way, there isn't that big a difference when somebody gets 3 or 4 estimates.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. And dude, Jeff, tell like, before we, like, I know you're a bestseller author, you own an awesome business, you're obviously very tied to the events and things like that, but like, who is Jeff outside of that? Like, how did you get started into painting? When did you write your first book? Like, why did you go into books? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I started painting 17 years ago. My wife and I had just split up, and I had worked for a family business. And so here I am without a job. And I really always enjoyed, I didn't do an awful lot of painting, but I always enjoyed painting itself. So I thought, well, maybe that's something I should get into. So I put a little ad on Kijiji, or a little online service saying, hey, anybody want to take me on as an apprentice? And I was 36 years old at the time. And somebody graciously took me on. And I started painting with them, and I just sort of moved around to different companies, learning different things. One company specialized in residential repaints. The other one specialized in new home, custom home construction painting. And then just basically took that to my own company, and then went from there. And over the years, we've just scaled and expanded, and became the biggest painting company in our area, and it's gone from there. So, and I really truly loved painting when I first started. So. But now I really developed a passion to help other painters, because I struggled. Nobody teaches the business side of things to employees. So when I basically went out on my own, I knew how to paint, but I didn't know how to do anything else. I didn't know what marketing was all about. I didn't know what estimating was all about. And it's just learning curves that I had to do over a long period of time. So the books came about to help painters avoid all that. There's no point in buying equipment they're never going to use. There's no point in them starting and not knowing how to estimate well right off the bat. I hate seeing poor painters. They should be making money. So that's what my books are all about, is to teach them, the ones at the beginning, to get off on the right foot immediately. So, it doesn't take them 10 plus years to start being profitable. So
yeah, amen to that, man. Amen to that. So when you made that transition from employee to business owner, right? I don't know if people listening to this have made that jump, or if they're like subcontracting for a company and then they try and do it out on their own. But obviously it's a lot harder than it really sounds and looks. Like you start to swallow all these new responsibilities and expenses and things like that as a business owner. How did you find that transition from painter to business owner?
It's always hard right at the beginning, because you got to start wearing so many hats. It's easy just to walk onto a job site, grab a brush, start painting. When the whistle goes at the end of the day, you just go home. But that doesn't, when you open your own company, that doesn't happen. You're painting for the day, plus you're doing invoicing, plus you're doing estimates after work, plus you're looking after your own marketing. And when you're solo, it's either doing door hangers, or flyers, or however you're doing it, networking. But it's all those hats you have to wear, and all that extra time. So yeah, it's not easy at the beginning. So if my stuff can make anybody, save time and do it faster without, spending all that time, great. No, that's what this other side thing is all about. So
yeah, man, I'm a huge believer that business is ultimately just a personal development game that you just make money from. You know what I mean? Like how much have you grown as a person from when you were an employee to like actually owning the business?
I think I've grown quite a bit. I mean, I understand now what it takes to be a business owner. A lot of people have no idea what sacrifices you have to make when you do that. And you run into brick walls at times, and it's challenging, and you have to either get over the brick wall or quit. So that helps develop your character as a person. You develop tough skin over time. So yeah, I mean it's a process. So but am I a better person because I went into business for myself? Oh yeah, I mean I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back. Like I wouldn't turn back the clock and start over again.
Yeah.
I really enjoy where we're at now and all the things we can do because of, like we do a lot of charity painting. If I wasn't where I am today, we wouldn't be able to do that kind of stuff. So
You do a lot of charity painting? That's awesome, man.
yeah,
So like
like
how do you kind of
local
go
stuff.
about that?
Yeah, we do local charity painting for agricultural society that they don't have an awful lot of money. Have to keep up buildings because they have contracts with the city, and we help them to do that kind of stuff. We've done painting for a local. It's a housing community for mentally challenged people, and so we've done a lot. We did a lot of free painting there last year, and then different little smaller charities, churches. We do a lot of painting for churches, and
That's beautiful.
yeah, just to give back.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And do you get like Sherwin to help with that stuff? So like
Yep,
or
Sherwin or
whoever
Benny
takes
Moore,
part?
our local Benny
Yeah.
Moore stores. Sherwin's helped a lot,
Nice.
donating painting to the bigger projects. We even get our rep to come and help, which is nice because they're not painters, but they can roll walls or they can help with stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah. So
it's been fun.
I'm assuming you partake in the Pay It Forward at the PCA
Yeah, of
every year?
course. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I wanted to do it this year, but I was like, maybe I should try painting a wall first because I feel like I just do damage. I feel like I'll hold everybody up. You know what I mean? I'll be like the Sherwin rep, like you were talking about.
There was a couple fellas who I know from PCA that do not paint. They have a painting company bigger than mine, but they have no idea how to paint. So they show up and they help. They give support, but are they holding the brush? No, no.
Yeah, the cheerleaders.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
We
I
all
love
show
that,
up with
man.
painting gear on, and they show up with brand new overalls. Look, not touched. They look the part, but yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. So how long have you been going to events in the painting space? Like not like local events, but like actual national or provincial like events.
Yep, just for the last couple of years, we were at Florida 2 years ago. I send my foreman, my assistant manager. She goes to Women in Paint. She's going again this year to Nashville. She went last year to Florida. I felt really bad sending her to Florida during the hurricane, but I wasn't trying to have her killed or anything. But no, they made it fine. She had a great time. Came back with a lot of knowledge, like learning about systems and how things are done at the top end of things. So yeah, and I went to residential last year. I was at PCA again this year. So yeah, it's been. I love the events. They're so great for networking. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
should not go. So
Yeah.
actually what we picked up at PCA this year, the expo, was the Education Foundation. So we just take it. So Painting Biz Publication, which is my publishing company that produces the books, we 10% of all our royalties go right into the foundation. So yeah, it's been good just to help
That's
people with
incredible.
scholarships. So
Wow. So you help fund scholarships for the PCA?
yes,
No way. I didn't know that.
yeah, it's a new thing. We started doing that in January. So
Wow, that's amazing, man. For all the events. So like how does that kind of people enter into a raffle or a draw for that and
I'm
then
not
you
sure
fund that
how
or
they do it at their end. So they put a big thing on about asking for people to donate to the foundation so that people that can't afford to go to an expo for education can apply. And if they get their scholarship, that basically covers their entrance for expo, which is considerable. Especially with Canadian dollar, the way things are, and you convert that over, and it's a lot of money.
it's like $1
So
million?
yeah, yeah. So, But so yeah, so you can donate to the Education Foundation. Jason Paris is looking after it. So if anybody knows Jason Paris, they can ask him about it, or you can go to the PCA website. There's information about the Education Foundation, and you can donate in different areas. One is education. One's promoting the trade to high school kids. So there's different areas you can donate to, but we're concentrating mostly on scholarship, so that we can see more people at PCA at Expo, and they can take advantage of the same stuff that we get to learn about. So
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So who's been one of the coolest people that you've met at one of these events? Myself excluded.
Okay, I fellow Canadian. I got to spend some time with Justin Georgopoulos
Nice.
at the last expo. Great guy. Took in his lecture on door-to-door sales and found it fantastic, and immediately took that home and put it into practice. So yeah, it was a great guy to listen to. I mean, not being biased because he's Canadian, he's from London, Ontario, and he and I have been going an ongoing conversation all day today. So great guy, and I really enjoyed his lecture. So and if anybody because door-to-door sales, if you're solo, that's you got nothing to do today, go out and knock on doors.
Yeah.
And Justin teaches you how to do just that. And really non-evasively. So, it's not about high pressure sales. It's just about getting, in the door and giving somebody an estimate. So
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
So do you fill a lot of your like sales team's pipeline through door to door, or what's your main kind of lead source and marketing platforms?
So we do a variety of stuff. I mean, we do, not that digital is really important, but so is offline. So we do Facebook, we do Google Ads, we do direct mail. We do door hangers. So we have students that are going door to door with door hangers and trying, if somebody's home, they can get a chance to get an estimate. Then they set up appointments we have a staff of estimators. So but we do a mix of marketing. There's two local decor magazines that we put ads in. So, all of that together works really well. Works really well for getting leads. We probably get 15 to 25 leads a week. So, and we're closing about 37%. So,
Love it. Who's doing your Facebook ads?
Me, but after after I listened to you at Expo, I found out I was doing it completely wrong. So I went back to my hotel room, basically got rid of what I had and redid it. So, to way you said it, because I was boosting posts, which you said don't do that.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. Yeah, they're okay for like engagements and whatever, but like in terms of lead gen, no, back end is the best way to do that for sure.
Yeah, well, doing things myself, I didn't know that. So
for sure.
Thanks for sharing that. I went home and fixed it completely immediately and saw results because of it. So
good, man. Yeah, I love that, man. It was so fun. Running that workshop, I was like, dude, I was so ready for it, but it was crazy, man. It was like, hey, real quick, before we get back into the video, if you are running a painting, an epoxy, or a concrete coating business, and you're saying to yourself right now, Lucas, I am done playing it small. Lucas, I am hungry and I'm ready to grow and I'm ready to scale my business this year, then listen up. If you want my team and I to help you fix that, if you want more qualified leads into your sales pipeline, if you want more high intent appointments into your sales calendar, and if you want more high ticket jobs, shoot me a quick text at 602-833-5079, and I will personally reach out and set up a game plan to help you turn your yearly revenue into your monthly revenue and help you dominate and scale your business right now. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to helping you scale your business this year. Let's go. Are presenting in front like live, like public speaking is already kind of like a stressful situation. And dude, I got there 10 minutes before the presentation. They're like, hey, we don't have a wire. Because like mine was a live demo, right?
Yep.
So I was like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Because like I had to plug in my laptop so I could like do a demo and like show everyone how to launch Facebook ads or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a presentation like slides and stuff, right? So I call Tanner. I'm like, bro, like come here, please. So Tanner comes and he starts like problem solving. He's like, all right, we're gonna get you in the back of the room. You're gonna run up to the front, do the slides, come back to the room, do the demo, and vice versa. Man, I probably got like 18,000 steps in during that presentation, dude.
Wow.
It was like a very stressful situation, but we always prevail, man.
Yeah, it was well attended.
It was, yeah. That was a really, really fun one, man.
And
And
I always find that's one thing that paint when I talk to painters, they have no idea how to market their company, not a clue.
because
So
they're painters, right?
yeah,
Like I do. I mean, look, it's different. Like you were saying, like owning a business, you have different hats, right? There's marketing, there's sales, there's fulfillment, and everything, right? So it's like each of those requires different skill sets, and it's not just Facebook ads, right? I don't recommend a business to only rely on Facebook ads. I
right.
don't recommend a business to only rely on door to door. I think you should have that kind of omnipresence and that diversity rolling, right? But each of those requires different skill sets. So it's like as a painting business owner, it's not just marketing that you have to focus on. There's other avenues as well, right? So man, it's really, really cool to see like the impact. Like we had this couple on there, Molly and Jacob, I believe. I can't remember what state they were based out of. But man, because we did like a 3-day workshop after, like once a week, we just like touch base with everyone that attended and kind of like go over the ads and stuff. Man, they were getting like extreme results with it. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like a $13 cost per lead. Like they were just like
Wow.
rocking it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's great.
absolutely rocking it. So yeah, they're super sweet. And they went and left us a review on Google. I was like, oh, that's so sweet, man.
Yeah.
So
We figure we're paying $35 to $45 a lead.
which is still incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it varies like
it does.
area to area. You know, like we have some clients that's just like they're in a hyper competitive market with not a big audience size, and they're at like $85, $90 a lead. We focus more on like the cost per appointment. So we kind of have like that drop down funnel. So it's like cost per lead is like the top of that. And then below that, more importantly, is like cost per appointment, and then cost of acquisition, then like return on ad spend. So like as long as like we're respecting the bottom, and as we go up, like if those numbers kind of creep up, like if you have like a $300 cost per lead, but each of those leads is closing and you have like a 20x return on ad spend, it's like keep that going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. 35 to 40. And how big is your team right now?
So we're running a crew of 9 staff and 5 sets of subcontractors. So that's, we have one, our staff basically now is just stuck doing, new custom homes. Because we have so many clients, it just keeps snowballing. And that's all they really can handle because they're that busy. So I've got subcontractors doing all our residential repaints inside and out. So, and we've got so many jobs booked already in advance for the year. So that'll keep them busy till, October. So yeah, it's good. It's going to be a good year.
I know it well, man. I know it well. And what's the, if you don't mind me asking, like for 2025, like what are you guys pacing for in terms of rev?
So I just narrowly missed $1 million last year in sales. So this year, that's my target is $1 million. We had a really bad 2 quarters, like last quarter of 24 and a first quarter of 25. It was a combination of what's going on here in Canada with interest rates. Interest rates are going crazy for houses, so people have stopped buying new houses. Mortgage rates they're really doing well. You know what I'm talking about. They're doing the stress test, and people aren't getting mortgages anymore. So that couple that with we had a really bad winter. Like it was just, we never got rid of snow. We had 6 foot, 8 foot on top of people's houses, and we haven't had that for years. So that just stopped people from wanting to do anything at home and just, concentrate on weather. So yeah, but once the snow melted and everything, the phone started ringing, and it's been good. And we did what we were supposed to. When things get slow, you ramp up your marketing. We did that, and it still didn't really. I'm sure that's what helped. Once people got thinking again,
keeps things rolling.
Yeah, it was a tough last 2 quarters, but I think we're still going to make our target this year. So I'm happy with that. I just have to keep an eye.
It's that 80-20 rule, right? Like 80% of your results are based on 20% of the time. And, June and July are like peak demand season. So like a lot of your revenue is going to come from these 2 months. So I know your 9 employees and your 5 subs are probably just rolling right now.
They are. The subs are loving it because, finally we didn't have an awful lot of work for our subs over the winter. I had enough to keep my staff, but not enough for the subs. So now that they're all back working again full time and getting those big paychecks, it's all good. So.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
And what kind of led you into, writing books and becoming an author? What prompted you to going down that direction?
I think somebody had mentioned it to me a number of years ago and said, hey, you should write a book about painting. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And I've done a little bit of authorship over the years. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll do that. So I started the project, whenever I had time getting into it. But it wasn't until I came back from my first PCA event, first expo, that I'm like, hey, you know what? I really want to do this. So I took like the next 6 months after that and basically poured into the book because I basically am off the brush. I work in the office now. And I had time to do that. So I made more time for that. And that's when by August, I was able to pump out Paint Smart, Not Hard. So.
And that was August 2024.
24, yeah.
Okay, so the very first one was Orlando 2024 for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's our first one too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was
We
excited.
met there.
And we're going back.
Did we meet there?
Sorry?
Did we meet there?
We did not.
We didn't, hey?
No. I knew who you were because of it, but we didn't meet until the next expo. So.
Yeah.
But that was on my
that was
list of
an
things to
awesome
do.
one,
Top of the list, meet Lucas Jensen.
Dude, mine was meet Jeff Lockwood, brother. So I love that.
Number 2 is meet Tanner Mullen, and I didn't get a chance to do that.
You didn't meet Tanner?
No, he was too swamped after the end of his lecture. He was just too swamped with people, and I didn't want to bother him. So
Yeah. He was man. He had a great presentation.
yeah, he did.
I love
it
Tanner.
was
Tanner's
good.
such a
Yeah,
he's
no, I
a
went
good
to it
dude.
specifically because I wanted to meet Tanner Mullen, but I didn't get a chance to. So
Yeah, he'll be at PaintCon, dude. I'll sit you guys in a room. I'll say, you know what?
okay,
You and Jeff.
that sounds good.
Yeah, I love it, man. Okay, so
I did get to spend some time with Nick Slavic, so that was good too. We were up in the chairman's suite having drinks, so that was a good time.
oh, for his party.
Yeah, well, not for his party, but we had our own Canadian party. I think I mentioned it to you guys.
Dude, what? You had a Canadian
We
party?
did. We had a Canadian party on the Monday night because there was no PPG thing.
Yeah.
We had a Canadian party up in Nick's suite, and I went for dinner, and Dulux Canada paid for it. So yeah, it was good. Good dinner.
Dude, man, Jeff, I gotta get in a group chat with you, dude.
Sorry.
Like, I gotta get in on these Canadian events, dude.
Yeah, that's the first time that's ever happened either. So. But usually PPG puts on something the first night, and they had nothing going on, so they did this Canadian dinner thing. There was about 30 of us. I sat with some guys from Edmonton, great guys. Have a great painting company there in Edmonton. So, yeah,
Love it, man. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the Canadian market. I love the Canadian market a lot. Obviously, our dollar fluctuates compared to the U.S., but man, I want to start bringing some more events into Canada.
we need
That's
them.
something I think we've been lacking.
And we have no events. There's really nothing, not an awful lot going on. So,
All right, man.
and there are a
It's
lot
happening.
of hungry painters that want to know how to run their business here in Canada. They just, there's no events to promote any of that. So, I don't know where we can start with that.
Dude, I'm gonna make that happen this year, brother.
Okay.
Where should we do it?
Well, I mean, Toronto would be your place to do it because that's where most Canada lives in Toronto,
Yeah.
or Montreal, or out west. But yeah, the bigger centers would be the best place to do things. You get a lot of response from it, I think.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, consider it done, man. Let's make it happen.
Okay, I'm there.
Cool. I love it. And dude, so 4 books. You have the Paint Smart Not Hard. You have Mastering Your Numbers. You have the
Q&A.
Painter Q&A. And then the last one is
Marketing
the
Edge.
Marketing Edge.
Yep. And the newest one that's coming out next week.
Next week?
Next week is I got a friend of mine who's a salesman extraordinaire, and he's like reading it over for me. So I want to get his opinion on it before I release it. But it's called Pitch, Paint, Profit, and it's all about selling residential painting.
Dude, let's go.
Yeah, and that's all because the first expo I went to, I was invited to do a sales panel with Ron Adams and Nick Kelly. Brad Ellison was the moderator. Matt Highfield, all great guys. They're like, there's me and then there's them. No, great guys. And we were all in a sales panel together. So yeah, it was a great time. So that kind of inspired me to because a lot of people came up to me afterwards and said, because I'm a small market, like I'm not Los Angeles, I'm not Detroit, Michigan, I'm Owen Sound, 20,000 people, and our area is 167,000 in the same size as two times the size of the state of Rhode Island. That's the area we cover. So yeah, it's a small market. So I think it's a feat for me to get $1 million in sales a year out of 167,000 residents in an area. So
Yeah, that's solid.
yeah, I think that's a feat. I mean, imagine what I could do in Los Angeles or in Detroit or in New York. I'm sure I would do really, really well. But unfortunately, that's not where I am. I'm in southwestern Ontario. So, this basically a lot of people came up to me afterwards and basically talked about how they really enjoyed my presentation on how to get leads, on how to talk to people at the door, on my sales presentation. When I'm there. So I developed a quick book, not real big. It's only about 150 pages, but it talks about value-based selling. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that's a huge component in the sales aspect for painting, because it's not like roofing where it's like an urgent need. For example, like someone's
Great.
house isn't literally crumbling if they don't get their house painted, right?
Or leaking.
So yeah, exactly. It's a want, more of like an aesthetic want for painting.
Yes.
Obviously, when you have custom builds and things like that, like that's a need because they need to do that before they sell a house and whatnot. But painting is a want, and in order to sell something that is a want, you have to build the value for that want. Especially when you're competing with people that chucking a truck, like
yeah.
lowballing and stuff like that. Like you have to build the value to add that price discrepancy, that price gap that chucking a truck is providing, and you're providing up here, and you're just filling that gap with value. So value-based selling for higher ticket things that are more of a want base, that's ideal. So I'm I want to get that book.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I really am. It was like these books sort of come on a whim. It's like I get this, I should do that, and then it just goes, and I just focus on that for a while, and then my wife gets mad at me for not doing estimates, and and then the book comes out. So.
Yeah, but selling 100 books a month, man, for mastering your numbers, that's huge. Congratulations.
It is huge. I'm impressed. I knew an estimating book was needed, but I didn't think it was going to be that attractive. So, I'm excited. It's not about the money. It's great for PCA Education Foundation because they get 10% of the royalties. It's great for that, and I'm excited to help painters. Just do better. They make more money, do better. Instead of being because people view painting as the poor trade. We're not electricians, we're not plumbers, we're painters. But that doesn't mean that a painter can't make, a 6-figure salary. They certainly can, as long as they do it right.
Amen. Yeah, love that, man. So, hey, real quick, before we get back into the video, if you are running a painting, an epoxy, or a concrete coating business, and you're saying to yourself right now, Lucas, I am done playing it small. Lucas, I am hungry and I'm ready to grow and I'm ready to scale my business this year. Then listen up. If you want my team and I to help you fix that, if you want more qualified leads into your sales pipeline, if you want more high intent appointments into your sales calendar, and if you want more high ticket jobs, shoot me a quick text at 602-833-5079, and I will personally reach out and set up a game plan to help you turn your yearly revenue into your monthly revenue and help you dominate and scale your business right now. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to helping you scale your business this year. Let's go. If anyone wants this book on sales, or any of the books actually for Jeff, I'm going to have the link in the description of this on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're watching it.
Yep.
So you can definitely go check those out, because Jeff is a bank of knowledge, speaks at the PCA, is very tight with a lot of people in the PCA, and obviously runs a badass business. So highly recommend you check out those books, because, man, I believe in paying, cutting the check for speed. Right. And a lot of these things that you learned is because these are pain points that you experienced in your business.
Very much so.
And you documented these to provide that guidance for someone to not experience that same pain point. So cut the check for speed always. I'm a huge believer in that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. So what's after this book, what is next on the radar for Mr. Jeff Lockwood?
So I've been trying to, because I can't paint forever. I'm 54 years old now. So I really, really enjoy helping painters. So I've been trying to develop a paint business, coach business over the last, year and a half I've been into it. And I know it's a slow process. It'll probably take about a decade. But I'm starting to get clients now and having regular weekly video calls with them, and, tackling their goals, helping to solve some of their issues. So, and it's working well. It's the time zone problem is an issue, but because even though my client's getting up in Vancouver, for me it's lunchtime. So yeah, things like that. But other than that, and it's been great. And I really, really enjoy helping painters solve their problems. So they can move forward, so they can scale up. So that's a work in progress. That's basically, once I get, and I'm going to run out of topics for books eventually. So yeah, that'll be my main focus, as well as the painting company. I've got a great foreman, and she's her and my wife. My wife looks after the office stuff. She takes all the initial phone calls, does estimate visits, and my foreman looks after the paint crew and supplies, and talks to our paint companies about getting great deals. And so yeah, so between the two of them, they're doing well, and they're letting me focus on other things. So.
I love that, man. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so your foreman, she's going to the Women in Paint this year, you said?
Yeah, so she was on the cover of American Painting Contractor magazine for December. She was the wallpaper one.
No way.
Yeah, so that's
dude. I got the copy. Right. Not that specific copy, but
yeah, that's the magazine. Yeah, APC.
Yeah.
We were on she was on the cover for December. So she got talking to Kevin at Women in Paint last year and got talking about wallpaper, and he says, "Hey, can you shoot me some pictures and send me an article?" And so she did, and we made the cover. So
I love it, man.
That was exciting.
We spoke with Kevin too. Gloria, she's our onboarding specialist, but she connected with Kevin, and he wrote like a huge article on us, and essentially like how to scale your business through leveraging social media and stuff like that. And man, Kevin, I love Kevin. He's such a genuine dude. Such a genuine guy.
Kevin is awesome.
yeah, he really is. Yeah. So I love that, man. So scaling the painting coaching side, the painting business coaching side, obviously scaling the painting business, going to keep publishing books and attending these events and building strong relationships and everything like that.
Meeting painters, yeah.
I want to ask you, I like ending these podcasts with this one question, and every single podcast I always end it off with. And the reason I like it is because it's that wisdom drop, right? So let me ask you, Jeff, if you can restart your business and you could only tell your younger self one single piece of advice, right? Your business restarted, you're however years old when you started it, and you can only tell your younger self one single piece of advice, what would that be?
That's really simple. Value your work. Don't undercut yourself. Know what you're worth, and sell it accordingly. That's what I would tell myself, because that's what everybody always second guess. They always say, well, am I too high? Am my pricing too high? No, like know what you're worth, and then sell it accordingly. That's what I would tell my past self.
Love it. There's a quote from Alex Hormozy. Do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
I don't.
He's like he owns like a portfolio of companies. They do like $200 million a year. Like, he's a beast. But he has a quote that says, "Charge as high of a price as you can that you can tell your client without cracking a smile." So like, when like you're charging for a room for like $25,000, you start smiling. You're like, obviously he's not trying like that. You're like you start increasing your prices. I think everyone here should raise their prices regardless of what they're doing. And I think it's Jason Phillips that says his ideal close rate is 33% from appointment to close.
Yeah.
If he's above 33%, he raises his prices. If he's below, he drops them and just kind of prices it accordingly. But I think everyone in here,
that's the rule of thumb.
Yeah, you want to make more money, just raise your prices.
Yep. And I do every year.
Yeah, as you should. I mean, Sherwin-Williams does, right? Yeah. All these paint suppliers do. Why don't you as well, right? So, yeah.
There's no point in that coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Every professional business raises their prices.
Right.
You should be too.
Yep, that's correct.
Love that, man. Well, Jeff, if people want to reach you, what is the best way that they can get into contact? I'm going to be dropping your Amazon book details here, but what would be the best possible route for people to connect with you?
So we're on Facebook. There's Jeff Lockwood Painting Services on Facebook. There's paintbizcoach.com, and there's also Painting Biz Publishing, all on Facebook. We have a website as well, www.paintingbizcoach.com, paintingbizpublishing.com, or lockwoodpainting.ca. Either way, you'll get a hold of me.
Yeah. I highly recommend you guys do get in touch with Jeff. And just again, check out his books. 10% of all proceeds get donated to a education fund. So you're supporting a good cause as well as learning a ton of stuff. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. Thanks. Have a good day.